Want to take a vacation but don't know how to plan it? How do you find the best credit card for getting miles? How early should you begin planning? Are the airport elite clubs worth the money? If you have questions, we have answers. This is Asistuhbegoingplaces, the podcast that helps you make better travel decisions, save money, and enjoy your excursions. Co-hosts Vicky Young and Tyrone Griffin answer travel-related questions and give tips on how to make vacations more enjoyable and more budget-friendly by using simple planning techniques. Neither of the co-hosts are paid travel professionals, but they love to travel and have developed tips and strategies they want to share. The best vacations are when you enjoy your activities and don't feel like you got ripped off. If you have a travel-related question, you can send it to asistuhbegoingplaces@gmail.com or post it on the Facebook page, Asistuhbegoingplaces, and they'll try to give you a well-thought-out answer on an upcoming show. And if you like the show, please leave a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, what's up, B?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I am doing well.
Okay, you can hear me good?
I can hear you good. Can you hear me good?
I can hear you perfect. Before we go any further, you know I got to go there. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
I was gonna do
appreciate it.
I was gonna do like the black words. Happy birthday to you. Now, you are only as old as you look. So happy 24th birthday.
Thank you. You got it. I'm actually 26, but I appreciate it.
See, that's what's wrong with y'all. Nah, happy birthday. Happy 26th birthday.
Thank you.
How you doing? Everything good?
I'm doing well.
Good?
Everything is good. What about with you?
I cannot complain. I had a crazy busy morning, ran 4 miles, did a photo shoot.
Oh,
back
good
here
for you.
doing this. So I'm doing good. So let's get this party started. Hey, Tammy, my Newberg is in that house this morning. Got a couple of my friends from high school rolling in. So before they run off, like, what they doing? Let's talk about get into today's show. Today's show is a Sister Be Going Places podcast. Today's show is all about flights. Okay?
Yes.
Booking and all that. Now, before we go any further, I got to say one thing about it. Like, I got a friend of mine who is dealing with this right now. We've said this on past shows. If you're going out of the country, make sure your passport and everything is straight before you go. I have a friend right now, I'm not going to go into details, but they are basically stranded in another country and can't come home because of some stuff, some passport issues. I don't know exactly what, so I'm not even going to speculate.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So my point, folks, if you're going overseas, make sure that everything is good. And I mean,
that's
imagine
unfortunate.
that. And they've been over there, it's almost 2 months now. And they've been stuck in another country. And I mean, it's yeah, you know, it's a mess. So anyway, that's the point is if you're going out of the country, make sure that all your passport paperwork is straight before you go.
Yep. So, and then you can also think about your passport can be up to date and you can have all the information you need. But like China have these certain laws when it comes to traveling that I was reading this. I was actually looking at this video blog where this guy was stranded in China because he was supposed to have some type of notification requesting to them 2 days prior to coming. They had just put the law into place like a week ago. He had no clue about it. So he couldn't even get into the country. He lands in China and he's stuck at the airport. Wow. So they really wanted to lock him up because they felt like he was disobeying the law. So it could be beyond your passport. That's why you have to do your research to figure out what the laws are, what I should and shouldn't do, because you could get stuck and that is not pretty at all. Yeah.
That's a very good point. Hey, if anybody online watching got a question, just type it into Facebook Live and we'll try to answer it. But we're going to keep going with the show. But yeah, that's a really good point. And now and I know we don't get into flights, but are there issues with the airports as far as like if you land and you have an issue, if you stay in the airport, you're more protected than if you leave? I'm just curious.
Well, actually, you don't really have a choice. You don't have a choice. Once you get there, you're pretty much at their mercy on whether or not if you so-called unknowingly break the law and they don't allow you into their country, there's a series of, first of all, they're going to interrogate you. And then second
Mm-hmm.
of all, you got to try to get a U.S. representative there to help you, to speak for you. And then you
Mm-hmm.
got the language barrier. Then you have to pretty much figure out what you could do if you don't have anybody there to help you. And a lot of times they won't let you contact anyone, or they won't contact anyone. So you're there pretty much out there on your own trying to get back. Now you can purchase a ticket. If they don't allow you into their country, you can purchase a ticket. That ticket may be $500. It could be $1,000, or it could be two. You don't know. But if you're not prepared for something like that, you're pretty much stuck until they decide you're not a threat, and to either let you, they've decided they weren't going to let you in the country, but to let you just go back home.
That's deep. That's deep. Because, yeah, that was that story, that movie that Tom Hanks was in years ago, and it was based on a true
Yeah,
story where the guy
he
was in
was
the airport
stranded.
for like months or years or something crazy. He was
Yeah,
just basically living in the airport. But anyway, like I said, today's lesson is if you're going out of the country, make sure
do your
everything
research.
is straight
Yes.
before you leave. Yeah. So anyway, let's get to it. Now, the first thing I want to ask you, Flight. I was going to ask you something else, but I'm gonna switch because of what you said. And you know what I'm talking about. Because everybody who saw the Turks and Caicos episode, and like I said, Homegirl was fly. Okay, you remember Eddie Boomerang with Eddie Murphy talking about you got to coordinate. You got to coordinate. All right, So dig it. So let's ask that question about what do you wear, and I'm not talking you specific because we know you fly when you travel. And I not to be morbid, but you have a plane accident and you'll be dead out there. But they'll be like, man, she look fly. She gotta look fly. Look what she got on. She's fly. Man, you would be the one. You would be laid out. You would be laid out in the field like dead. But they'd be like, man, we got to build a casket around that because we can't just lay her like this.
Crazy.
I'm sorry. I know that's morbid, but this is the truth. You was fly when you went to Turks and Caicos. You was fly in the airport. So let's talk about that. As far as what do you think about what people wear, or what should you wear when you're going on a flight somewhere?
Well, I'm old school. So I always believe that, and I was always taught that you dress for where you want to go and for where you're going for, and not for where you are right now. And most people think it's spending a whole lot of money on this and that and the other just to dress. No, I just believe in whenever I go somewhere, I want to make sure I represent myself to the fullest, whether it's to work, whether I'm flying someplace, because you just never know who you're going to meet. I've seen people in the airport with pajamas on. If they're flying an overnight flight, I've seen people just wear any types of things. But I've actually been on flights where I'm talking to presidents and CEOs of companies, and you're networking. So you're representing whether you know it or not, by just because people judge you according to how you look and what you have on. And I'll never forget, I remember doing an overnight flight out of the country. And I was and I was going to go from Atlanta to JFK, and I wanted to upgrade to first class from the Atlanta to JFK leg. And I was talking to the gate attendant, and I told her I wanted an upgrade to first class because there were some spaces on the flight. And I asked her, how do they determine who gets the upgrades if they have space available? And I say, is it just the medallion members or just these members who fly and not? And she said that it depends. That counts, yes. She said, but it really depends on how you look when you show up at the counter, or how you look. Because she says, if I put you in first class, or if I put you in business class and you're flying out of the country, you need to look like you purchased that ticket. Because there are people that's in there paying $6,000, $8,000, $9,000 for a ticket, and you just got upgraded, but you sitting up in there with your pajamas on and flip-flops. If that's the way you want to fly, it's about being comfortable. But you also, I'm not saying go dressed in a ball gown and a tuxedo. It's just that think about how you're going to present yourself when you do go. Because when I go to the airport, I spend time. I actually love visiting the airport lounges. There are all kinds of people in those lounges. Those lounges used to be just reserved for VIP. just the, yes. And now you're sitting up there with those people, and I just met so many people just having conversations and just being able to talk business and share what I do, and they share what they
Mm-hmm.
do. And believe me, if you're not dressed appropriately, they're not going to approach you,
Mm-hmm.
period, because they're going to feel like you're not on their level.
Mm-hmm. But that's a
So
good
I
point
just,
you make. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, so I just think it's important to think about that when you are traveling as well. And then when you get to your destination, you're not getting off the flight to go to bed, you're getting off the flight running. And there are
Mm-hmm.
times when I'll leave at 8 o'clock and one day and show up the next day in a different country, and I don't get a chance to check into the hotel until after 3 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be dressed to be able to hit the ground running and not
Mm-hmm.
feel like you're out of place because you just showed up with anything. So you have to take that stuff into consideration as well.
Now you say that because you was fly. You had on them Chuck Taylors.
What Chuck
You had on
Taylors?
them, you remember them, or them Jordans. Something you had on. When you remember you had on. You was fly. I was like, wait, there was some Jordans on your feet.
Yeah, there were. I believe in being comfortable. I will wear a really cute pair of sneakers with a nice, cute dress,
Yeah.
just to kind of be, because I have to be comfortable going through the airport. I
Right.
will say that.
Right.
But I make sure that what I have on, it's appropriate. And,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, and a lot of people's like, how you do? It just really just depends. You can be comfortable and still be presentable. You
But
don't
now,
have to feel like you got to wear flip-flops or
right.
just shower shoes just to go through the airport.
Now your sneakers was matching too.
Oh, yeah.
They gonna be matching. They was matching. That the outfit was matching. Yeah. But you make a point, and it's funny. You want to get a real glimpse of if you next time where you're in the clubs, but anybody else, if you go to the airport, just find a spot and sit and just people
Yep.
watch, and you will see
Exactly.
people come off and stuff, and it will start hitting you like, wow,
Yes.
they got up and put that on, or
Yes.
half on, to come to the airport. Like,
Yes.
wow. And I remember years ago when there were a couple of plane accidents, maybe 20, 30 years ago, and 2020 and Dateline No Shows used to run stories about it, and one of the stories they talked about was, what do you dress in? And they were telling the women to wear natural fibers, because that polyester and stuff like that, if you're in a fire situation, you're trying to run out of a fire, it will melt that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
those chemicals, and it will burn you because they'll
Yeah.
melt to your leg. So that was one thing they said. They also talked about, to your point, you got to hit the ground running. I'll see
Yes.
women in the airport. I'm not trying to bash anything, but I'll see women there with 4 and 6 inch heels on. Hey,
Yes.
oh, you look good. Not be clear. You look good walking up the where all the gates are, up the aisle. You look good. But if it's something going down and you got to run,
Yeah. I
you on
did that
you on
one
your own.
time. I did that one time trying to be
Uh,
cute going through the airport, and that was one time. My feet were killing me. And then I was like, Nikki, you don't have to do this. You got to be comfortable because you're going from one gate to another. You got to get on the train. Atlanta Airport is
mm-hmm,
huge. And don't
mm-hmm,
have to go to the international terminal. Now, unless you're getting dropped off because you can't really park over there, you got to get a
mm-hmm.
shuttle to get. So there's a lot of running around back and forth to the airport. And
Yeah.
even when you're coming back into the country, it's still a lot of running around. So I just say, just be mindful, and I always say, just dress for where you want to go. And
Mm-hmm.
if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
Hey.
So it's like, I don't have to run to the restroom. Let me go freshen up my face before I talk to
Right.
this man over here who owns 50,000 companies. And I want to you're ready to just walk up and have a conversation, even though you're not fully dressed to go to church or a
Mm-hmm.
club, but
Right.
you're presentable.
Right. Dress your age.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, we beat that horse. So here's a question. Tra- the myths about booking flights, because I've heard things where you book them on a Tuesday, or is
Yes.
there any truth to any of that, of when the airlines release the best prices and things like that?
Actually, it used to be. Tuesday used to be the day. where but you had to hit them like Tuesday at 12 o'clock in the morning.
Like
You
midnight.
got to be up. Yes, you got to be up waiting to just log on to look for flights. Now it has changed. I mean, I found flights on Sunday that are really reasonable. Wednesdays, you just honestly, when you want to go someplace, you just have to stalk the airlines. I stalk them. Even if because the last few trips I've taken, I've used miles. And even when you use miles, you can still stalk them. Because I remember booking a trip that was 33,000 miles when I originally booked it. And then because I was stalking it, I noticed that it had dropped down, that exact same flight had dropped down to like 22. I was like, oh no, that's over 10. So I called Delta and they reimbursed me the difference in the miles.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, if you're paying much cash for a ticket, just I get on there every day. And if I'm trying to go somewhere seriously, I'll check. But if I'm looking for flights that are out 6 months to a year, then I pretty much can casually search because I have time. But if you want to go somewhere within the next month or so, just start looking on your spare time and you just got to get into it and just stay focused on it because it changes from day to day.
Now we're talking about the day that you actually booked the flight, not the date that you're leaving, right?
That's what I'm talking about too.
Right. Okay, just want to make
Yes.
sure. Okay.
I'm talking about, that's why I say you're just going to have to just search all the time when you want to find something different, because I've been on there, this is no joke, looking for a ticket, saw a ticket at 8 o'clock that morning and said, okay, I'll just get it when I get home from work today because it'll be the same. It had went up by, at lunchtime because I checked again and I'm like, darn, I should have got it. I should have got that ticket. Now it's almost double. So It's like, and it wasn't on a particular day. It just really depends on when the airlines, how many seats they have available for certain areas and certain flights and certain destinations. Then they put them on sale.
Okay, yeah, because I excuse me. Now I know if you stay over, or at least it used to be if you stayed over a Saturday. I think it still is. If you do a round trip ticket and you're staying over a Saturday, Saturday night is cheaper. Usually,
hold
right?
on, back up. Did you just yawn while I was talking?
No, let me tell you something. It wasn't you. And I thought about it. It wasn't you. Like I said, I've been up. Vicky, I've been up since like 5 this morning.
I was like, you're bored.
Sorry. No, I'm not bored. No. And I thought about that when I did. I'm like, oh gosh, she gonna dog me on that. And I thought I got away with it. No, I've been up since 5 this morning. I've been to the gym.
I had to call you.
Yeah, because I'd have called you. I'd have called you out. So yeah, I give you that. But no, believe me, it is not you. And, you got me all messed up now. But no, now it used to be if you stayed over a Saturday on a round trip ticket, it was, what's up, Jeff? My Howard University friend just rolled up.
But it doesn't matter when you book the ticket.
Right.
That's any day. If you stay over a weekend day, it could be much more reasonable than it would be if you didn't. But it doesn't matter what day you book the ticket.
Right.
That happens, period.
No. So, I mean, what I was asking about originally was, the day you book, the day you actually book it, as far as what days of the week do they lower prices usually? And it's on Tuesday.
Exactly. That's why I say it used to be that. It's all over the place now. It used to be a Tuesday. You used to bet by that, but now it's different. Check on a Sunday. There's sometimes when I see really good rates on a Sunday. There are times when I see really good rates on a Wednesday and Thursday. So it's just, you just got to stay on it when you're seriously looking for airfare to any place.
Now, what about though the days you want to travel? Well, that's like a different question. Not necessarily when you book it. You could be booking it on Sunday, but you're traveling on Thursday or Friday. And you showed me that Google Flights. That thing's the bomb.
Yes.
Where it just gives you a map. What's up, Jeff? Of all the flight prices by day. Yes. And that's the thing too. If you can be flexible a little bit, you can save a lot of money.
You can save a lot of money. And when I search, I always do the advance. So it kind of gives you an overview of the different days. Right. And that's usually how I book my tickets, because I can be flexible. If I'm going to save 3, 4, $500, I'm flexible. You
Okay.
know.
So here's a question about flights, because you've taken a lot of those long 18-hour marathon, where they give you a log cabin in the plane to sleep in
I
and all
know.
that, with a toilet and shower. Because they do have that on some, right? They have a cabin.
Yeah, they have some. They have some sweet flights.
That's
Yeah.
like Air Force One type stuff. Where
You got to pay for it
but
though. It costs you.
yeah, oh yeah, but yeah, you got the money. But now so you've had those kind of tickets, not maybe the top level, but you've had those where you got a little private kind of
Yeah, you know what? I've
typical.
been extremely fortunate
Mm-hmm.
where I've been upgraded to business class internationally a
Uh-huh.
few times. I've been extremely fortunate, and I tell you, it's a different world up there.
Uh-huh.
It's a totally different world, and it's all about, again, just asking the question. You
Uh-huh.
can get upgrade by whether or not you're a rewards membership. It just
Mm-hmm.
really depends. Like
So
the
let's talk
agent,
about. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
said, it just really depends. So just ask.
Mm-hmm.
You never know if you don't ask.
So let's talk about that, because when I book flights, you have those different categories. You got cabin, main cabin,
Hmm.
business class. What are the differences in those different? Can you just give us a little bit of what the difference is in, like, cabin versus main cabin, that kind of
Well,
thing?
you have economy. You have economy
Mm-hmm.
class tickets, which is the lower level tickets that you can buy. You can't select your seats when you purchase those tickets. Those tickets usually put you in the middle seat. You can't, when you get on, you just have to wait until you get to the gate and they issue you a seat. Those are the low
Mm-hmm.
economy class seats. Then you have the main
Okay.
cabin seats, which are, you can go online and book your ticket. You can select your seat. You book
Mm-hmm.
that, and that's where you get. Now they've upgraded to where even the economy class is getting a lot of the benefits that the main cabin classes are. You go out of the country,
Mm-hmm.
you're getting your meals, you're getting your wine and your drinks, and you're getting entertainment and all that. And but the seats are, the space in the seats are a little bit smaller in main and economy. Then you have the with Delta, being that it's my airline of choice, you have the Comfort Plus seats, which gives you a little
Okay.
bit more leg room. And they say the food is a little different. The snacks and stuff are a little bit more upscale. I couldn't see the difference in the food and stuff, but you do get a little bit more leg room.
Well,
Then
wait a
you
minute. On
go
that
to
food, hold on one second. On that food issue, the time you flew, tell the truth, you probably was in the club, right? Before you got on that flight.
eating,
Yeah.
eating
Right.
before, and that's what I
Yeah.
do anyway. I have
Uh-huh.
access. Excuse me. I have access to the clubs. So when I'm
Mm-hmm.
traveling, pretty much anywhere, especially out of the country, really long flights, I have dinner in the clubs first, because the
Mm-hmm.
food is a little bit more better than what you get. Now the food is a lot more better than what you get on the plane, and
A little bit more better. Yeah.
it's a
Okay.
lot more better. So I normally I go to the club, I have dinner, I have a glass of wine. So when I get on the flight, I'm not hungry, because I can't really eat a lot
Uh-huh.
of the stuff that they have due to
Right.
food allergies. So I don't
Uh-huh.
worry about eating when I get on the plane. And I usually just can get on the flight and just kind of wash everything down, clean everything up, and then I'll get ready to go to sleep, because I'm getting myself in the mindset of where I'm trying to go. Because usually where I'm trying to go
Mm-hmm.
is 6 hours ahead of where I am now.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to mentally take yourself there. So I usually try to just watch a movie and then go to sleep so I can wake up the next morning and be okay.
Now, you said wash everything down, clean everything up. Let's go there. You said it. I didn't. You said it. You wash.
No.
I know what you mean,
Yes,
but let's go there.
I get on the flight, and well, I will say this. Most airport lounges, they have showers. So if you go on that route, you can have showers there. But what I normally do is I get on the flight and I have my little Clorox wipes and I have my little Lysol wipes, and I wash down everything, because you guys have seen some of the videos where people are just using their feet on the tables and windows. It's just disgusting. So I get in and I wash down the vent, the air vent. I was told that thing is full of germs. I wash down the tray table, the back of the tray table, the front of the tray table, the seats, the headrest. I wash all that stuff down because people are nasty. I've seen some nasty stuff on some flights. And that's why I was like, okay, now I know what I gotta do.
I can see you pulling one of them little handy bags out your purse.
I wish I could travel with that, but I do, because I'm like, I don't want to get to my destination and get sick.
Nah, you're right.
And so I do that, and then I do I'm fortunate enough to where I can do priority boarding. So I get on the flight and I have time to get on before my seatmates get in, and I can wash everything down. It's not really crazy.
All right. Yeah, I've been like you told students, hold everybody up a minute. I gotta do something. Just everybody just wait right there. I gotta do something. And they're like, what? And then they come back and be like,
everybody.
Like, you want a job?
It smell all fresh.
I know. People next to you be like,
but I suggest everybody do that, because I've seen some things that really is just gross on flights. And just, if you can remember, just take some of those little wipes and just clean your space, because you're on those flights for an hour, up to 8, 9 or more hours. And you're breathing in that recirculated air anyway.
That's bad enough, right?
But it exactly. So the germs and stuff are all over those seats. And when people are sleeping, they have their feet on the window, and you leaning on the window with your face, and you're sleeping. It's just nasty.
Yeah. And this is not an indictment of the airlines, because let's be honest, they got to turn their flights around in like 10 or 15 minutes. And 10 to 15 minutes. You know what they should have? You ever see those portable not portables, but the public bathrooms they have in some cities, where you go in there and when you come out, it locks. And it's a big old boot and it locks. Nobody can go in there for like 3-4 minutes. And it's like just water. They just water everywhere.
It cleans itself.
Everything down. But
and you're right. They don't have time to flip those flights. So it's really left up to the passengers to just kind of do. So I get on early, put my bag away, and I start wiping things down. So when my seatmate comes, I'm already straight. I'm not in nobody's way. And, calls it a backup. And that's just what I do.
I'm laughing because I can see you show up in the airport, fly, right? And then you
cleaning.
Then you put on a hazmat suit and get on the plane and wipe everything down with gloves, with tape around the wrist and the glass helmet, and then take it all off and be flying.
There's a video of Naomi Campbell out there who was getting on a international flight, and she was in like business class. She had one of those little suites, and it showed how she was just wiping everything down. And I was like, I get it, because you just don't know who was there before you and whether or not they were sick. And I can remember being on a flight. I was in France, and I was leaving Corsica Island, headed over to Nice. And I caught that early flight, and I'm there, like the airport just opened, and there was this lady standing next to me. She was sick. She was coughing and she was crying. Her eyes were just watering. And I'm sitting there looking at her, and the first thing I thought was, Lord, please don't let me sit next to her. And I get on the plane, I'm at the window, and guess who sits next to me? Yes. I looked up just to see whether there were empty spaces, and there was an empty row, 2 rows ahead. I said, excuse me. I got away from her because I was like, I don't want to be sick. But I'm glad I saw she was sick prior to getting on the plane, so I knew not to sit. But I felt bad for her, but I didn't want to. I had the rest of my trip to do. I was like, I can't have you making me sick, because what you got is contagious. You really don't need to be on this flight.
See, that's the start of most movies, where somebody get on the plane coughing, and next thing you know, the whole plane got a flying.
She was sick.
2 hours.
She was really sick, and so I was just like, and you just don't know. And she was touching things, and I was just like, I can't get sick. I'm gonna have to move.
Well, not only that, you probably told her, this seat right here, I done cleaned it. It's really clean. You could have this one. This will help you feel better.
I was trying to get away from her. I was just, she can have it. I was like, she can have this roll. All of this is hers. I need to get away from her because you just get sick.
Right. But you know what? You make a good point too, though. Even in business class and first class, I think people have the idea that they like sanitize that area and not the rest of the plane. No, they got 15
They
minutes.
don't.
They go
Yeah.
through the plane picking up. I mean, I'm not trying to indict them. They go
They
through
don't. Yep.
picking up because they got to turn them planes around. So
Yes.
even in those
You're right.
in that executive or that nice area, it might look all nice and white and pretty, but yeah,
Yeah.
stuff out
It's
there. That's
filled with
deep.
germs.
That's deep.
And
Well,
then one thing I would suggest to people that I don't think a lot of people know about, my first international flight, I stayed up all night watching movies because I was just happy. I was like, oh God, I don't have these premium channels at home, so I'm gonna watch.
you so ghetto.
I was a disaster the next day.
You so ghetto. You ghetto. That's a ghetto move. Ooh, showtime.
I was drinking wine and watching movies, right? And I was a disaster the next day. However, I didn't know. I got on the flight, and 8 hours of that circulated air on the plane irritated my allergies so bad.
Oh, wow.
I felt like I had a sinus infection when I got to my destination. I was good for nothing the entire day because I was sick. So I ended up, I said the next flight I take that's international, and I've been doing it ever since. I purchased one of those surgical masks that doctors wear. I know I look weird and I don't care, but I wear that, especially if I'm sleeping and it's late. And I tell my sleep man, I'm like, don't take it personal. I just don't want to be sick when I get there because of the air. And that's what I have on the flight. And when I get there the next day, I'm not sick. My allergies are not irritated. So you have to think beyond just getting on the flight, getting in a comfortable seat, and you got to think about what your needs are while you're on that flight, and making sure you have the essentials with you.
Yeah, I mean, you look like Michael Jackson, but yeah, I get the point. I get the point.
I did. I look real funny, but I wasn't sick when I got to my destination.
The next day, I look like Michael Jackson too, running around, moonwalking all up and down the beach. Well, hey.
Because the first day when I got sick, I ended up being in bed all day. So I missed the entire day of vacation because I felt bad.
So yeah, it was worth it. Well, look, Vicky, those are some great tips. Those are some really great tips. You know, time flies on this show. I always say that, time flies. But those are some really good tips. Before we close out, is anything that I forgot to ask, or anything you want to mention about flying or flights in general? That, you know, some tips, last thing, something you always do besides
I would say just if you want to just don't let the airport experience scare you, or don't let the expensive flights scare you because they mark them down. I get those, sign up for those flight notifications. They have different companies out there that you register for, and you can get different flight notifications. You have to be flexible on the dates that you want to travel. But just the other day, I got a trip to Paris for like October through December for like $375. Wow. If you're okay with going to Paris when it's cold, then that's a good time to go to Paris. You may not be able to go in the summer when the tickets are $1,500. So be flexible about the times that you want to travel. It may be, you may have a little discomfort, but it would definitely be worth it if you can save over half of what you would normally pay when you go. So sign up for a lot of those little notifications where tickets are really cheap, because I get them. I'm signed up for about 4 of them, and I get notifications every day, at least 3 times a day, from different ones about the different flight fares. And then you have to jump on it and get them when you can, if you can. A lot of times I get it. You may not be able to do it at that moment, but if you can get them, book them then. And if you have to change it, it's $150 or $200. You've only paid $300 for the flight, so you could do the change fee and pay the $200. You're still paying under $500 or $600 for a ticket you would have normally paid 6 or 7, 2 or 3 times more for. So just look into doing stuff like that, and just because travel is so much fun, and I've learned so much about just traveling around and experiencing different countries and cultures.
Now you say these notifications you sign up. It's like that million miles member newsletter,
Yes.
stuff like that. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Get the newsletters, and then a lot of them have the different notifications where some you have to pay an extra like $20 or $30 a year. And
Right.
then you get the notifications prior to the people getting them in the newsletters, which means you get them quicker and you can take advantage of the flights quicker. I signed up for them a long time ago. So I was like, it's worth it for me to pay the $20 a year because I'm saving all this money on flights. And
There you go.
It's worth it.
It's worth it,
Sign
yeah.
up for that stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Well, as always, Vicky, thank you so much. This has been great. Everybody watching, I hope you enjoyed it. Vicky, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday. And
I appreciate it.
That picture was fly. You know which one?
Thank you.
I was like,
Thank you.
I was like, so you gotta go, all right, that's where we are. Okay, all right, we're there. All right. Nah, that was really nice picture. That was really, and you had mentioned it was your birthday, and I forgot till I saw the picture. I was like, oh, it's her birthday. Oh, go ahead, girl. But
I can dress up when I want to. I clean up a little bit. I clean up.
I see you
a little bit.
I see you dressed down once,
No, you did not.
and it was by mistake. I can dress someone up. You dress every day. You know it.
It's habit. It's habit now. I mean,
with the-
it becomes a habit because I've been doing it for years, and I always tell my friends, dress the way you want to dress.
Yep.
Don't, because I'm gonna always do me. It doesn't matter where I go. I'm gonna do me, and you do you. I'm good. I don't care how you dress.
Right.
Just do you.
Except for them Uggs, but we'll talk about that.
Those things are the bomb in the wintertime.
Yeah, right. Well, hey, we just had a few people. Miss Powell, Miss Powell, good talking to you. Good seeing you. Keisha Jackson, thanks for tuning in. All y'all.
Hi guys.
We're about to shut down, but it's a good show, so go back and listen to us. You got a lot of good information from my friend, the sister that be going places. So for myself and for Vicky, thank you very much, Vicky. As always, I appreciate it. And everybody else,
Sure thing.
we will see you soon. Take care, Vicky. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye guys.
Thanks for listening. You can find past shows on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, or just about anywhere you find fine podcasts and Audible content. If you like the show, please leave a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. And if you are or know a sister that be going places, get some swag. Hats and tote bags are ready for your next excursion. Go to our Cafe Press store at cafepress.com/asistuhbegoingplaces.